Alas, while I would like to take the final jump with everyone, I'm afraid the saying, "you can't take it all with you," has caught up to me. Constellation needs to see this through, no matter what. Take note. Everyone here is worth learning from. Yes, even the kid.
There's a secret door in the basement. Leads right to the well district. That would have been the safest route for her to run.
Don't be a fool. If the artifacts were theirs, why would some of them be embedded under layers of rock? You see, that's a bad lesson to teach. Time is money, and an interest on a loan is the incentive to remember that. No, I suppose we never really do. But I don't see any other possibilities right now. Time to go. Let's talk more back at the ship. Lot to think about with this one. Oh, no. You have any idea how much of my time gets wasted by people who start conversations with that line? Is everything ready?
Our little raven from Varun returns safe and sound. Thank you.
And that was the last thing Sebastian Banks ever said in the lodge before he disappeared. And Constellation has been waiting for him to come home ever since. We need to get away from that ship. Somewhere deep down, I think we all wish it's not true. But part of us knows there's no going back. But I think you and I have been through enough that I'll trust you and take a chance on this. You're doing Constellation proud. Let's just hope that doesn't change with this newfound ability of yours. No. It won't. But it's not about making up for anything. It's... family should be looked after, even in death. Does it even work like that? This is enough to make your head spin. The only thing we know for certain is that the artifacts are important. We can't just give that away. This is the one way I can best contribute to our work. It has been, and continues to be, an honor to do so. That's it. Just like the others. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of these Starborn. And the speculation part of my brain is in overdrive. I'm going to be sick. I believe in an individual's place to make a difference. What is wealth if you can't do something with it? What is free will if we don't ultimately answer to ourselves? Shall we head home? I'm a member of the House of the Enlightened. Did you know that? We don't believe in God. It's humanity or oblivion for me, I'm afraid. It's comforting, isn't it? You haven't really lost someone. You're just waiting to see them again. And you don't even need proof. You just need to believe it. Shall we be on our way? Can we move on? I suppose. What am I paying for now? Every bar, huh? It's that good. You can personally vouch for this. All right, we've got her out. Once the door's open, just follow her instructions, okay? Don't start, Khatri. I know my request isn't what we usually do, but we all have our methods. I have connections and buying power. Why not use them? It's not poison, right? Wouldn't be the first time someone tried it. I'm kidding. I don't really think it's poison. That has happened, though. Oh, we're trapped to the executive level. It is very rare to do business with someone who really understands the true principles of a sale. An honest connection between both parties. I'll admit, the design of that ship is impressive. Now that I have a chance to look at it without fearing for my life, there might not be a Stroud Eklund in the next universe, and certainly not mine. And I would be a poor choice of company if I was, well, poor. I'm afraid you're a little light. No matter. You can come back whenever you have the credits. All right. Where exactly do you get your sources? I have to know. Listen for Issa's cues. We will get out of this. Yes, I'm fully aware this has not gone according to plan. That's not surprising. This is a deal over stolen property, after all. Anything could go wrong. Spoken like someone who's never run a corporation focused on innovation. We have to get out of here! Let's just try it my way first, Remember, that man is selling the artifact for a reason. He might be nefarious, but he might just be desperate. If what you said was true, my counterpart in your universe did quite well for himself. Only natural, I suppose. To the Volai star system, then. I admit I'm a little excited. Nonsense, I say. To go out into the unknown, to brave the possibility of never coming back, to ignite the spark of hope that humanity will find answers out there in the stars, that is all I have ever wanted. Let's go. You've seen the rest. It's time you try a Stroud Eklund. All right. Simple and definitive. I like that. Forgive me for saying, but the value of all the objects that could be destroyed in a fight here is more than I really care to think about. Once we get back to the ship, we can have a word. Thank you, I guess. Some people call Issa a jewel, but she's more than that to me. He'll ask for twice what we agreed on. That's normal. He'll probably try to walk out. That's normal, too. We should split up. The code phrase to identify yourself as the buyer is Ramsey and Travers. Are you ready to set off? We'll settle the accounts while you investigate.
That Starborn is right behind us!
I regret that Azami was ever mixed up in all of this. Seemed the least I could do to make sure she was looked after. We need to stop by the Stroud Eklund offices. There are certain authorization procedures when large funds are being transferred, even for something like this. Sending armed men into the Astral Lounge. Slayton must be serious about getting the artifact back. We'd better get off the planet quickly. Well, Cautry, pilfered any priceless antiquities lately? After this? With enough Chandra Vineyards Merlot in me, I just might. I don't want this deal to fall through, so don't take too long. Outside, you expect us to climb up the trade tower? We can't always continue this some other time? No, I'm here about... Wait a minute, a mistake. Our ship designers are the best in the settled systems. You can't take it with you, as the saying goes. That's why I didn't want to go. Comforting to know I'm not alone in that. If you thought it was a challenge to find artifacts, imagine doing it with everyone else in the settled systems vying for them as well. Let me know how it turns out. Well, I've taken up enough of your time. We have it. This couldn't have gone better. Excellent. Good work. Let's head to the Astral Lounge. Say no more. We all came from different walks of life. That's one of Constellation's strengths. It's about an artifact. And our goal is simple. We're going to purchase it. Enjoy your purchase, my friend.
Jump the ship! Anywhere!
Our public relations always insists on doing some touch-ups for the official photos. Embarrassing, really. Me? Why, I'm the wallet. Well, he's getting both. This isn't worth ending lives over. That, dare I say, I am fortunate. My soul has a home it can always come back to. I have this all taken care of. I don't remember asking you. One of the benefits of our every member their own conscience philosophy. We'll agree to disagree. A colleague from Constellation. Well, it's not about looking for thanks. It needed to be done, that's all. Besides, think of this as a rare opportunity to help shape the future of a major consumer brand. Our communication with the Eye seems to be on the fritz. We should get the artifact to the collection as soon as possible. You have the opportunity to reach the closest thing to your god that might exist. And you're second-guessing it? Ha! I knew it. Well, best of luck. We need to regroup at the lodge immediately. Tell Noel to analyze the data off the ship's sensors. Everyone's going to want to weigh in on this. We'll be meeting with my counterpart. Should be quick, milling it over.
I heard something. And then all of a sudden...
Not to take away from the moment, but what are we going to do about our new friend here? Barrett, seriously, how do you find these things out? I don't suppose you have a history of this sort of thing, do you? There he is. Let's have a word. Take your time. I'm sure we'll still be in the same predicament when next we speak. Or worse, enable the ones we've seen to become even stronger. I am not fond of either of those options. Hope my employees don't give you too much trouble. I guess we should be grateful we seem to be ahead of the pack, as it were. So far, no indications that anyone else has noticed what we're up to. Asa. Something's gone wrong, hasn't it? 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 Asa. Something's gone wrong. Remember, you're representing all of us out there. You're letting them strong-arm us. Why? You're a member of the House of Enlightenment? Funny. We've worked together all this time. And I never thought to ask. Smell that? Construction, incense, industrial chemicals of every kind. But they still can't get rid of the odor of chasm bass. Am I to assume that briefcase has our item of interest?
I'll agree to that. You need to find Noelle. Make sure the hunter didn't get her.
Keep on your toes. Security is everywhere. You don't believe in the afterlife, do you? I mean, this might be the worst time to bring it up, but I need someone capable and decisive to step in and steer it in the right direction. Interested? We're all waiting on you. It's taken care of. There's nothing to discuss. We should split up. The code phrase to identify yourself as the buyer is Ramsey and Travers. Time to go home. Shall we? Take a look at the ship's sensor data. I think everybody needs to see this. Now, I've apologized. It's on you to accept and forgive. Oh, please. It's completely ridiculous. Easiest bet I'll ever win. If this last expedition is my time, then I say I have been fortunate. I have been fortunate to leave surrounded by people who could not be more different from one another, but who share a common purpose. At this point, I don't care what you have to do to get that project back on track. Within reason. I have been informed that when I am home, I remain preoccupied with Constellation's work, which renders me cantankerous. Oh, no. This moment isn't about my corporate holdings, no. Being part of Constellation was just for me. Lately, I find myself spending more and more time here. Business has appealed to me, but this is exciting. As far as we know, we could be building a gigantic bomb that will blow up as soon as we finish it. And if we hadn't insisted on installing those emergency protocols, I guarantee you this rock breaker here would be halfway to neon. Just let me know when you're ready to set off. Yes, this armed thug was trying to steal our belongings. I'm beginning to wonder if there's anything you can't handle. I'd like to test that theory. Here we are. I mean, on paper, a rich protein source is far more practical value than a recreational drug. But theory loses out once again to practice. My colleagues, I venture out into the darkness of space once again. Many of you have expressed concern. At my age, you say, surely the risks are too great. Surely Sebastian Banks has earned a rest. Of course. I'm just a walking bank account, aren't I? Still 2,000 credits for our little wager, Kadri? The seller's up in the booth. Nice work. Curious feeling, knowing that you've seen something that no one else has. That you know something no one else does. All right, we'll play the long game. That doesn't mean much. This thing could be emitting something we can't even detect. That settles it, then. We just need to make a few stops when we get to the city, and then the drinks will be on me. That's an interesting question. I'm afraid I don't really think about it too much in terms of what specific things I own, though. You're here to deliver the artifact, aren't you? By all means, Miss Coe. Ask away. Now, I know the Unity was our goal all along in this endeavor, but, well, it's still there, isn't it? No need to rush. Part of the problem is that my designers seem to be having trouble agreeing on a plan. Thank you for that. But I'd be lying to myself if I didn't admit it was a part of me, and I have no desire to find out who I am without it. The feeling's mutual, and frankly, I don't care. I just want someone You. To go there and show them how it's done. A business meeting, of a sort at least. Apparently, I've become rather cranky when I'm not able to participate in Constellation's little adventures. And you've tried this drink? You think it'll sell? Oh, that's not any type of ship I recognize. Slayton is a man of considerable resources. We should just let him go. No sense in more violence. No, it's not. We're not. We're not killing anyone. None of us would be here without the others. We're all incredibly indebted to one another. So, Mateo, swiped any new religious texts? We've arrived. A word? All right. Here's what you're going to do. Go pay a visit to my lovely wife in Neon and tell her I said I've been thinking about rereading Jules Verne. Until next time. This is just typical. Barrett hands over our ship and our robot to some random employee of that discount mining outfit he uses. Enjoy the city while you're out sleuthing. No, I don't need anything. Just, checking in, seeing how you're doing. So, they're strong-arming us for our own good? That doesn't sound very divinely benevolent to me. And also the most practical consequence of our little venture thus far. Good thing I hired some professional security then. Really? I think there's at least one example of someone who didn't let the corruption of the city get to them. Agreed. Have a talk with the man himself. And now, perhaps we can try and move on. Frankly, this is the most exciting thing that's happened in years. Of course, Miss Ko. So something happened out there? I knew Vladimir was onto something. Financial losses I can handle. But death. My darling Issa has concluded that it is in both of our best interests if I can spend my time working from the lodge as often as possible. Goodbye, my friend. If I could borrow a bit from Sebastian Banks. Bring light into the darkness of the unknown. Can you imagine if word of this got out?
Is he gone? I doubt we should stick around to find out.
Chat for a bit? Normally, I hate talking to people at funerals. But, well, What can I do for you, Miss Ko? A Starborn. Not only that, a Starborn with a damn title! Before you ask, no, I don't have any intention of going to the Unity myself. Fighting Starborn is above my risk threshold. I do have other things that require my attention, you know. I'm afraid I'm not useful counsel when it comes to grieving.
Don't worry about me. Keep going.
I just saw Arcella walk by. Good job. To the Astral Lounge and Arcella. We have an opportunity to spare a man's life. I know he probably wouldn't do the same for us, but that shouldn't matter. We're both part of Constellation, actually. Let's head to their lobby, shall we? See if we can make an appointment. No, I think this is a fine idea. Take as much time as you need. We'll play nice. Just a little friendly conversation, Sarah, that's all. If it were anyone else, I might be inclined to nod politely, express some vague enthusiasm, and suggest setting up a meeting that never happens. They're willing to kill for it. Doesn't that tell you something? Don't fall for this. It's true. I am away from home quite a bit.
Get us out of here!
This was all supposed to be so simple. Let's just get out of here. Take a seat. Sorry. I've been lost in thought for a bit. The CEO of Slayton Aerospace. They're a systems manufacturer. Engines, thrusters. You know very well I don't publicly disclose my investment strategies. But yes, it looks very promising. You can even fashion industrial pieces for large-scale projects, if you don't mind extracting a few raw resources from a nearby planet, that is.
No. Let's hear it.
So it's up to us. We are what lives on. If the pain of loss inspires us to greater action, then that is the good that comes from all this. You really want to risk a straight fight with an enemy we know nothing about? We need to regroup. Bide our time. I know you too well to believe that. You've got to have a line on something. By the way, in addition to a place to stay, the lodge has a wealth of modification and research equipment. Spacesuit customization, pharmaceutical manufacturing, testing alien substances, the whole thing. Someone has to fund all this, and all my success in business doesn't mean much if I can't put it to good use. If you have a moment, I have something I'd like to discuss. Yes, you're right. I can't argue with that. I'm just used to costs only being measured in money whenever I can help it. Let's talk more back at the lodge. A few unexpected turns, but we did it. We'll get through this. Hold on. And it also wouldn't hurt to give Stroud Eklund an advantage in the marketplace. Well, I don't really look at it like that. My success has allowed me a great many experiences, which I value more than possessions. All that matters is who you are now, right? And you're one of us. I don't need any more than that. We'll keep the ship safe. You do what you do best. I've got to say I'm impressed with it. It's a bit safe, but also an elegant evolution of our past designs. I think it's going to be a great addition to our fleet. But at least now, we really know the stakes. What we might lose if we go forward, and I think we need to go forward. Our friend is gone. There's no afterlife, or second meetings. No God in heaven that is curating a perfect ending for them. I haven't even stopped to ask you how you're doing, so what do you say? I just need a ride to Neon, we talk to a few underhanded operatives, and then we're back for evening drinks. I'm aware of the terrible things that happen in the streets. But I thought, if money and power can't afford you to be merciful, what good is it? So you seem like a man who shouldn't be crossed, merely pointing out your finer qualities, Issa. And my colleague here is from Constellation. Humanity is what truly creates our world. We are the ones that judge things to be good or evil, joyful or mournful. Let us take responsibility for it. Let us remember what we have lost. Perhaps I can help. We're both people of business, Nicholas. In the same industry, no less. What are they talking about? What are these riddles? Yes, I imagined as much. Barrett expressed something similar, in his own unique way. It's hard not to feel some regret, even some blame. No one is individually responsible, but I am the one paying the bills. Very well. Let me know. Remember, the code phrase is Ramsey and Travers. Sam was a good man. It's the least I could do. Goodbye, my dear. See you at the next board meeting? You'll have to forgive me. I don't know you as well as the others here. If you weren't so new to the group, I might already know the answer. But death is one of those occasions where it's hard not to look inward. Hello there, Vasco. Our seller is a freelance operative in the city of Neon, which means the artifact is almost certainly stolen from someone. I have the amount we agreed on. Now, how am I supposed to do that? Something to do with Kazambass's natural oils, apparently. If you're curious, the name is Aurora. Well done. Some high-pressure tactics, but we got what we were after. I've got to say, it's certainly interesting. They managed to cram just about everything they could into it. Honestly, I don't think it ever occurred to me to do something like that. I know Constellation seems to take up so much of my time, but I never stop thinking of you, wondering what maneuvering you're doing to take over the company and drive me out. Sarah's the best possible person to be running Constellation at a time like this. Focused, no nonsense, and dedicated. I merely found a group of like-minded individuals. Just like all of us. No, I was explaining that there's nothing to discuss. It's been taken care of. I'll settle up with them later. Arbitration, lawyers, all that nonsense. Let's just get out of here. The seller is wearing a Slayton Aerospace Service pin. It has been determined that for the long-term health of our relationship, that I am better off here, rather than simply making things worse at home. In our new state-of-the-art Star Yard, we are creating revolutionary new starships at prices that are out of this world. I don't often speak about what I believe in, It seems so redundant with how I live.
We need to head to the eye.
Sarah, I know we argue about money all the time. Most of it is in jest, but occasionally it's not. A native species of fish. I often wonder what would have happened if they'd never found out about the psychotropic effects. Still doesn't excuse it. Sometimes I think you only keep me around because I pay for everything.
Why not?
Here.
Enjoy.
To be honest, I prefer it. I have professional designers, and obviously they can't do the job. They're floundering. And when this is all over, we can go back to squabbling about minor expenses. But it was important to me that I do this. It's a new ship. We want to diversify our fleet.
There's more to an investment than the monetary gain. Did we achieve our goals? Did we meet the expectations we had going in?
Does anyone know what that field is? Bullets are bouncing right off him. Maybe this one will turn out better than the last time. Huh? If everyone walks away with what they want, I'll call it a success. Very clever. The Stroud Eklund offices are in the trade tower. Bribe a few bouncers, alter the codes on the doors. I suppose you might think I joined because it lets me off the moral conundrum of having a god count my credits when I die. But the truth is... Are they? Our goal is to get him to accept that ship in exchange for the artifact. Anything goes as long as it's in our hands, and we're not dead. How does that sound? Let's get to the lodge. We need to discuss this with everyone. I'm told that when I'm not here, I'm distracted by what I might be missing, and wind up crabby. Or, my personal favorite, irascible. What better person to tell those overpaid muckety-mucks how to build a ship for the discerning consumer?
All right, let's get it over with. What amazing situation have you discovered that I can't possibly afford to pass up?
It's all right. I just need to have a short chat with my counterpart. Is she in today?
I'm having trouble finding my words as well, to be honest.
Meet me back here. I'm going to be present for the negotiation. I'm not leaving you to the Neon Sharks, I promise. I assume the board of directors will take over for the company. Let's hope none of them are as bloodthirsty as he was.
Oh, I'll be fine.
Well, I suppose that station in orbit has more than paid for itself at this point.
Issa, look, this isn't the time or the place.
All right, we're here. Now, I don't know what the seller looks like, but they'll be wearing a black suit and a Slayton Aerospace service pin. It's not like people who trade in stolen goods are eager to share personally identifying information. I've tried to convince the United Colonies we can help in that regard, but they're married to Deimos Star Yards, and those old salts are stuck in the glory days.
Right. Well then, keep up the good work.
Wait. This clearly isn't the executive level. He's on to us. I'm no scientist. I leave that to the likes of Barrett and young Noel there. But I think we can all agree there's something unusual going on here.
This'll be fun. I find matching wits with the neon underworld to always be invigorating.
All right, fine. I need your help. I want you for a little soiree I'm planning. Yes, I used a pun. Forgive me.
I don't know which universe you're from, but one of my versions apparently stepped through the Unity and proposed I buy up this little explorers club.
Oh, believe me, if this was a legitimate transaction, I'd already have it.
Let's get that artifact.
That's certainly true.
The matter is settled, Sarah. That's the end of it.
I should mention that you're not there to make design decisions. You're there to get the project back on track and help guide them. So, ideally, you're not adding to the problem. You'd be on your way already if you just take the money I'm offering you and shut up. What's it going to be? Take or walk?
Where? Do you really expect them to barge through the front door?
I agree. This life suits both of us, don't you think?
It's the discretionary fund, Issa. I need all of it.
There's nothing like an investment paying off. We've succeeded beyond my wildest dreams. Everyone should feel proud.
There's a picture of what the pin will look like in case you don't know the logo.
Goodbye. Oh, right. I was afraid you were going to bring that up again. Well, I guess after you. I'll take your word on that. James Newell is the broker who knows our seller. He'll be able to help you find out more about them. Oh, I'm not arguing otherwise. I did not. You can gloat all you want, so long as you tell me how you came by that information in the first place. I believe my counterpart wants a word. I would say that I got exactly what I wanted out of my money. More than I could have hoped. I've never killed anyone over a business deal. I'm not starting today. Stolen any sacred relics recently? Still, in moments like this, I can see where faith can be comforting. I am not going to be forced into embarrassment in my own office. The answer is no. Don't blame yourself for what happened. You performed admirably. Even if there is something in the beyond, it's not here, is it? I don't need to tell you this, but we don't need to kill him. We were taking advantage of his initiative, after all. We got what we wanted. We should get out of here before Slayton tightens his grip. The same way everything works on Neon. Money. It's terrible at keeping secrets. So, let's start over, shall we? Walter Stroud, CEO of Stroud Eklund, member of Constellation, and oft-times grumpy old man. Who would have thought our oversized telescope would turn into a battlefield? So, are you interested in helping me at the Star Yard? I could use your decisiveness in steering the project back on track. But now, I'm not sure what to think. Then you're not getting the artifacts, I'm afraid. If you change your mind, I'll be right here. Up until very recently, I'd likely have dismissed it as, I don't know, hallucinations. Right, sure. You're telling me you haven't been on the lookout at all? I finally decided to do something more than admire from a distance, and so now I call the lodge home, as much as anywhere else. He's right. We can't turn back, especially not after what I've spent on this. I got to where I am by taking advantage of opportunities, no matter where I find them. And it shouldn't be hard to find the Astral Lounge. Here, let me at least give you some operation funds since I won't be joining you. However, I know Barrett would have appreciated the sentiment. She's right, like always. We're onto something, and there's no turning back, especially not after what I've spent on this. And we would have wrapped up already if you hadn't gotten greedy. Our original offer stands. Now, what's it going to be? Slayton is a clever man. Be on your guard. I think our business is done here. This was a good meeting. Are you ready to make that deal? For a shot at the Unity. It's a very reasonable price. There's no need to go into that. So, you don't need anything from me, then? Plenty of people just doing their job. Unfortunately, sometimes their job includes shooting us. My wife has therefore decided it is best if I can dedicate my time to our business here, for now. For both our sakes. Funny thing about that. Real explorers, the true pioneers. Pretty significant overlap in skill sets with soldiers. What are you doing? Get us out of here! I was never particularly close to Andrasia, and I wish I'd gotten to know her better. In any event, it seemed the right thing to do. I don't often get a chance to work in the field. So, thank you. A deal with a man who wanted us dead. I guess we can call that a win. What do you think? Even let me know exactly when a prospective buyer would arrive. Awfully charitable of him, actually. But at the end of the day, I do own a corporation based around building spaceships. You can't blame me. My frustrations lie more with Barrett, not the first time his shenanigans have jeopardized one of our ventures. For the moment, Slayton will be scrambling his own security teams once he gets wind that we're no longer at his mercy. Our time is limited. Here, your money. And we never want to see or hear from you again. Well, if my wife and I could gallantly offer your majesty a rescue from certain death, I'm not liking what I'm seeing on the scans. Energy output from that ship is far above the normal range. That could have gone better. But at least we have it. We'll talk back at the ship. Starborn. Never heard of them. I've already made arrangements. Don't worry about it. I've occasionally had my doubts about Constellation as an investment. But now, well, it's clearly money well spent. That is a rather personal question, but I'll indulge it. You forget how much you take a place like the Lodge for granted. Until it's threatened. I think our business is done here. Excellent. I'll send word ahead to the project lead, Jules Degante, that you're taking point. I'm Walter Stroud, and on behalf of Stroud Eklund, welcome. Were you going to sit down, or, despite our differences of opinion back on Neon, I'm beginning to respect you as someone who can get the job done. Yes. Won't we all? I am sorry I besmirched your chosen profession and made assumptions about your character. I want you to know I was very impressed with your work back on Neon. Understood. You know where to find me when you free up some time. Issa? We can pay to fix the damages, but, well, some things are irreplaceable. Once we get to Neon, I'll show you around my office there. I just need a little more presence in the negotiation to show we're serious. And I think you'd be perfect.
You're not stopping me, Issa. So let's just end this little charade of yours and let me get what I came here for.
Well, anything worth having is worth fighting for. For years, I was captivated by the writings of Constellation's founder, Sebastian Banks. Our colleague is alive in some alternate dimension? Am I hearing this right? I must admit, you've surprised me. I thought you were going to take off as soon as you'd gotten something from us. But I was wrong. Although there's always opportunities, I'm not above taking advantage of what we learn as a group. How are the preparations coming? Love the enthusiasm. I knew there was a reason I picked you to help with this project. Well, clearly the sarcasm center of your brain is intact. Well, I may not agree with every outcome, but you did everything to accomplish our goals and more. What do you say? I just need a ride to Neon, we talk to a few of your fellow Neon citizens, and then we're back for drinks. Damn, Starborn! That's not our problem. We came here expecting one amount. Now you want another. Yes, of course. Just deployed by our new enemy, right? Sebastian Banks, his final address before he disappeared. I missed you too. Not my first time in a hostile negotiation, as you well know. You know what? I owe you that. Maybe once this all dies down, I'll take another look at our charitable efforts. I may regret this, but there's something I'd like to ask you about. I don't know if I'm making any sense. I know. I've said as much before. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. Now, before we head in there, let me go over the ground rules. This is some sick game Nicholas is playing. Typical. That's an interesting choice of words. Ah, yes, you're intimately familiar with the area. No need to sugarcoat, then. It's going to be treacherous, but I'm hoping our combined talents will be able to handle it. I stand by my initial skepticism of you, but, welcome aboard. Quite true, but also opportunity. Our opportunity. We're not going to talk about what just happened. It's over, and we won. That's all that matters. A pleasure. Feel free to make yourself at home, by the way. My associates and I will only be hanging around for a bit longer. Didn't know our marriage was such a low priority. The technology on that ship was impressive, to say the least. If there's a chance, we could learn enough to duplicate some of it.
Bit of a coincidence, don't you think?
I'll be honest with you. This is the most expensive ship we've ever made. But I'm confident we can set a price point to make it work. How are your quarterlies looking, Nicholas? Perhaps we can add Slayton Aerospace to our supply chain, provided this unpleasantness was behind us. Let's have a little chat with Nicholas Slayton. Once we get those funds authorized, we can close this deal and be on our way. Yes, well, I like to keep some things private. Where's the rest of Constellation? They went completely broke and disbanded some time ago. Got this all for a steal. Let's have a chat with Nicholas, Oh, sorry. Lost in thought. Welcome aboard. Ah, yes, well. My wife and I have something of an understanding. In this case, we're talking about looking at our existing fleet of ships and using data we've gathered to see what consumers want. To the Astral Lounge. I know, I'm leaning on you a lot. What can I say? You're reliable. It's what top performers are made of. I hate to disappoint, but I tend to not dwell on material possessions any more than necessary. Never ends, does it? Dare I ask what I'm paying for now? All in all, a great success. Thank you for allowing me to tag along with Constellation's newest star. Admittedly, I usually know more about who I'm facing off against. I'm very interested in what Noel can learn from the scans. We're all that lives on when someone dies. It's up to us to decide how we remember them. If we spin up the grav drive now, we have a chance. R&D needs to happen first whenever work starts on a new project. It's a natural stalling point since we need to make so many big decisions. It's almost as if you think I'm made of credits. What is it this time? We should get a drink or two while we're at the lounge. No. No, it won't. But it's not about making up for anything. It's... family should be looked after, even in death. We don't need to do this. All's fair on Neon, am I right? And, as you've now seen, those resources aren't being wasted. We're onto something big here. How could just knowing what you are be dangerous? We'll need to go into arbitration to get it back. Lawyers, backbiting conference calls. I'll handle it. She's not the only one. If they're coming together, that means there's a set. It doesn't leave me with much time to get into the weeds with every little business venture that comes my way. Of course, now that I know you're interested. Didn't we? Early on, I think we all recognized that we were onto something huge, something that could change everything. Well, I hope for our sakes that time is a long way off. You belong here, you know.
Thank you. Shall we?
Finally! Let's close this deal. Sorry, I couldn't quite hear that. Did you say securing or stealing? You want this rock breaker in our organization? After getting lost the first time? Good. Let's be on our way then. What if that Starborn is still alive? You can't possibly mean what I think you mean. I'd like to talk to you about something when you have the chance. Let's go. Damn it, Nicholas. It didn't have to end this way. Well, I'll leave it to you. It's exciting to see this little venture paying off, but we really do need to be careful. Well, look at that. Don't worry about the amount we actually settle on. The Stroud Discretionary Fund is just a chip to you and me. This is either the truth or the most elaborate practical joke I've ever witnessed.
Ah, finally. Someone comes to us who has an understanding of what time and effort are really worth. Credits.
It was foolish to think there couldn't be repercussions for that. They'll all be instructed to listen to you and follow your direction. It's possible that I may have found your information useful. Keeping me waiting. New. Other universes might exist. It's also full of possibilities. We need to figure out what this all means before someone else does. The priest? Is the Sanctum Universum going to bless our little crusade of discovery? I'm a fan of self-reliance, so I encourage you to make use of the tools we have to build what you need. As you can see, we're in control. Take advantage of our generosity. Take the money. No, I did not. You're taking their word for it? What if this person's just delusional? Breathed in too many gases in that mining operation. Up the scaffolding. What could go wrong? Fair enough. I never said that. Did you have an agent hack into my files again? Just do me a favor and treat it as a last resort. I have a reputation. Spoken like a true connoisseur. It is if you leave empty-handed. We came here in good faith. Now honor our previous agreement. Now, I don't know why the people I pay very handsomely to come up with new designs can't seem to get out of the R&D phase. It's important that we don't forget the people we've lost. I'm glad you were able to weigh in. Of course.
I will admit what I'm proposing involves a little more cloak and dagger than the usual business meeting. But we both know that's how the game plays sometimes. Not fair of me to take it out on you, especially since it would seem he made the right call this time. As you know, I'm a busy man, running a company, helping to manage Constellation's financial needs. That's the neon ultra-competitiveness talking. Don't let her fool you. She moves mountains for others all the time. Does it matter? We know you're in a fix, and we're still willing to buy. For the agreed-upon amount. This would be a terrible time to have a fear of heights. I'll be right behind you. Unfortunately, our success means you'll sometimes see Stroud ship modules on less than reputable vessels. They covet them. The bastards. We're on to something remarkable. Maybe what I've always dreamed of. Well, some of us were. I'm sure we'll argue again. That's what relationships are. Breakage and repair. That is entirely understandable. More exciting than I was hoping this mission would be. Let's just get this over with. I'm expecting big things from you with this ship project. Don't let me down. It'll be easy, I promise. I'll ride passenger on your ship until we get to Neon. I'll need to reimburse Noelle for the easel and photo. The artifacts are all gathered. We've done it. I suppose that's why I'm an atheist. All this talk of death and judgment gets in the way of the real work. The artifacts were one thing, but this, well, we really need to keep this to ourselves. But I'm serious. This could change everything. They call themselves the Starborn. Demanded we hand over the artifact, like we were children, playing with their parents' things. I don't pretend to have the daring of Ms. Morgan, or the smarts of young Mateo, but I can make sure that they have the resources they need. We're most well known for ship manufacture. No expense spared. If you want the best and can afford it, you choose Stroud Eklund.
I didn't see much. I didn't see anything, really. That hunter attacked me, I'm sure of that.
This, or anything else?
Yes. I suppose there's no other option but living with it, is there?
I'm not getting any younger here. It's been a while since I've been to the Volii star system, although business trips do tend to blur. I wasn't born yesterday, you know. I'd bet you have your eye on something. And as I've seen firsthand, you dabble in all spectrums. Blue-collar work, exploration, fighting. I could go on.
Noelle, she might still be in danger. Took you long enough.
Now, this is a surprise. Tell me, what brought you back?
Oh, interesting.
I expect big things from you, so I'm excited to see what you manage to deliver. I don't believe you'll let me down. Not exactly, no. But I suppose it doesn't matter. You saw something. Barrett saw something. That's an unlikely coincidence. I'll be happy to make it my new personal ship. Additionally, I want you to have one of the first off the assembly line for all of your hard work. Feel free to pick it up at the Star Yard. Thanks again. I hope Khatri isn't sending you on some fool's errand. There goes our way out. I admit, my counterpart is right about needing to do more legwork. Keep your eyes open. Cold-blooded murder was a line I told myself I'd never cross. Do you really think we did the right thing back there? There was no other way. Remember, Ramsey and Travers. We'll meet back near the elevator.
I heard the others fighting him. Noelle screaming and running off with the artifacts.
Ah, there you are. Good. Shall we begin the negotiation? I'm willing to part with the artifacts and constellation star charts for a very reasonable price.
Let's go. That was the point. Neutral territory in the open.
I trust any of us far more than these Starborn. It sounds like investigating that anomaly proved to be quite exciting.
Might as well make the most of this crazy situation.
Funny thing about companies. You build one sturdy enough, it doesn't need you there all the time to prop it up. If you could hurry up, tell us, please. What are the artifacts? What are they for? Did you make them? What gives you more right to them than humanity? Change your mind?
Up for some business dealings on Neon? Am I just some useless stargazer? You would have been better off marrying a Hope or a Tayo, someone who could be with you at every meeting. But you speak our language. The streets of Neon sometimes produce a true diamond in the rough. We shouldn't wait for the next one to just fall in our laps, fresh from some mining excursion. I'll just be riding along in your ship until we get to the city. Yes, well, a stocked bar is a treat I think Constellation can afford. For now. But if you clean us out, you're on your own. Couldn't help but overhear. I'm quite interested to see what this demonstration will be. Be lenient. We were taking advantage of his initiative, after all, even if we have found ourselves working with the man he stole from. Welcome back.
Damn, Starborn! No one destroys a Stroud investment!
Thank you. It's not going to happen. Now get out of here. That's why you're here. Hopefully our combined countenance will be enough, but grabbing the artifact and running is an option. All right, we're here. Now, I don't know what the cellar looks like, but they'll have a security briefcase with them, larger than normal, big enough to hold the artifact. I don't have a choice, do I? You killed Musgrove against all my protests. I'm just as culpable as you are. But that kind of thinking won't bring anyone back, I know. Ah, Slayton must have been the original owner. Word of advice. If you're pitching a product, you always want to be certain about it. Or at the very least, sound like you are. Well, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of these Starborn. And the speculation part of my brain is in overdrive. I can't really describe it. There's a me, and a her, and an us. And I wouldn't trade the us for all the credits in Neon. Any luck out there? So maybe now we have no choice but to finish this journey before one of them does. Good to hear. I figured as much. See, I just finished looking over the final design they sent over before you arrived. Whether it happened or not wasn't in doubt. But honestly, Country, if you expect us to believe in fairy tales, I'm aware of the irony of me continuing to say it'll be easy. But it'll be easy. I want to make sure you're on board with helping me get the new ship project back on track at my star yard. I'm going to need you to go there and assist the team. Beating someone in a business deal is one thing. Killing someone is another. This isn't worth spilling blood over. Nothing is. Stroud Eklund functions quite well on a day-to-day basis, leaving me time to devote to more esoteric pursuits. If this is all true, and I have it right, we've potentially started a chain of events that will create more of these Starborn. You do that, and we'll get the necessary paperwork underway. Very well. Let's see if I embarrass myself or not. I hate to point out the obvious, but everyone in Constellation is exceedingly dangerous. Even the 12-year-old. My star yard's been having a little trouble getting our next project off the ground. Well, I suppose calling you a rock breaker may have been a bit out of line. Yes. We have something special here, don't we? Look, I don't like the idea of siding with either one of these groups. I'd much rather see someone from Constellation get there first. I'll leave you to it, then. Oh, exceedingly. The free market there is in full effect. Anything goes as long as you have the money. We'll be taking advantage of that. As you can see, we know everything about everyone we deal with. Now let's skip to it, shall we? I won't pretend that I don't have questions, but you clearly just saved our lives, so whatever secrets you need to keep, I'll keep them. Ending business is one thing, but lives? I know what my competitors in Neon get up to. I just thought we were better than that. There's no fooling you. Don't worry, this is a much lower stake opportunity. To give you a preview, a theme park would be too garish, but if we're lucky and the journey to the Unity can be replicated, well... Agreed. We stop now, and they win. I'm not accustomed to losing. You'll want to speak to Issa, see what she wants. Or
Maybe it's some kind of interstellar children's toy.
Good thing you've got me around, Ms. Morgan. Who knows how you'd get by on your own. Don't let that cold air fool you.
I've seen her move mountains for others.
Barrett, for all his antics, was an essential part of this group. And a friend. It appears you may have provided information that Stroud Eklund could profit from in the future. Yes. When you mix business and family, you learn to compartmentalize. But of course, each member of the R&D team can interpret that data to suit their own confirmation bias. I'm guessing that's what we're seeing here. We need to regroup at the lodge immediately. Tell Noel to analyze the data off the ship's sensors. Everyone's going to want to weigh in on this.
I have thoughts. There is nothing that an entrepreneurial mind can fail to commoditize. With enough time and effort, of course.
You'll be fine. Neon Security will show up, eventually. You reconsider my offer? Ready to set off?